They're trying with their skunk works to compete, and they do talk about their benching to BYD for a cheap EV, but nobody in the U.S. has been able to make a $30,000 EV and be profitable.
GM, though, downgraded to underweight from equal weight with a price target of $42.
So it's an interesting company to track. If you look at the stock chart, you pulled it up, it's been a roller coaster of a ride, but for investors that want to participate in the transition to electric vehicles, this is the way to do it.
Ross, are you gaining any more confidence in Musk and team?
Robotaxi or their full self-driving is level 2. And for them to have full robotaxis, we need to really see level 4.
And full self-driving is nowhere near what, for example, Waymo does in actual self-driving kind of cyber cab environments like in San Francisco.
All that and more. So let's get to it. Tesla stock is up in the pre-market over 1.5%, currently sitting at $261.18. It's been a pretty big month for TSLA, up over 20%, and regaining all of its losses from the year to date, positive almost 4.5%. Will Tesla run higher, or is it destined to go back to 52-week lows?
Let's talk some cars. Carolina, downgrades on Ford, GM, and Rivian. But then a separate analyst has got a comment on Tesla. Let's talk to Morgan Stanley analyst first, which is kind of putting out a sweeping cut on these companies.
Yeah, so this is Adam Jonas over at Morgan Stanley. We often talk about him as Tesla's biggest bull, although that's going to be rivaled when we talk about Tesla in just a second. But he downgraded shares of Ford, GM, and Rivian, as you said. Also downgraded his U.S. auto industry view to inline from attractive. Said the outlook is getting worse because of China competition, but also because of worsening economic conditions here in the U.S. Points out that U.S. auto inventories are on an upward slope with vehicle affordability still out of reach for many households. Also, credit losses and delinquencies continue to trend upward for less than prime consumers, he says. And then in terms of the China risk, he says the China capacity butterfly has emerged and is flapping its wings. China produces 9 million more cars than it buys, upsetting the competitive balance in the West, saying even if these units don't end up directly on U.S. shores, the fungibility of lost share and profit by key U.S. players adds pressure here at home.
Ford, GM, there's not a whole lot to like about the financial situation that's going on and the macroeconomic conditions we've got here in the United States. On top of that, selling abroad, well, that's going to be impossible, considering China may not be able to be in the United States just yet. They are everywhere else, making it virtually impossible for GM, Ford to compete abroad. This will truly be a challenging predicament for the U.S. auto industry.
So in terms of the actual ratings, for Ford, he downgraded shares to equal weight from overweight with a price target of $12. That's down from $16. So if you take a look at Ford shares, they're under pressure today, down more than 4%, trading around $10.39. So still some upside with that $12 price target.
I'm rooting for Ford. Hell, I'm rooting for GM as well. But I really just can't see how they're going to survive. Victoria, is there any light at the end of the tunnel for Ford?
No, it's a sell. I'm sorry. They just can't get it together. I also think it's a fundamental shift against legacy automakers from Detroit. They're just losing ground. They're trying with their skunk works to compete, and they do talk about their benching to BYD for a cheap EV, but nobody in the U.S. has been able to make a $30,000 EV and be profitable.
Not yet, Victoria. Not yet. If I had to put my money on who it'll be, without a shadow of a doubt, 100%, it will be Tesla.
For me, Ford has nothing beyond the F-150, and they can't just rely on that. Pro may slow down. For me, it's a sell. I could see it hitting 970 and going lower.
Ouch. That would be about 70 cents down from where it is now.
Ouch, indeed.
GM, though, downgraded to underweight from equal weight with a price target of $42. That's down from $47. GM shares currently trading down 6% today at around $45.24. So still a few dollars downside to go, according to Morgan Stanley.
Let's just say I'll be shocked if the numbers are good for the Chevy Equinox, Chevy Blazer EVs, or any other 10, 20 models that they may have or may have put out. Unfortunately for GM, the name of the game isn't quantity, it's quality. They just don't have a product that many people are clamoring about.
Now, I guess on the flip side, something more positive. I mean, Tesla is up on the year, but minimally. So it's still ahead of Ford, it's still ahead of GM. Ford and Rivian. But it's the last couple of weeks, it's been getting pretty interesting for Tesla again. So what are they saying? Is this robo stuff?
You know, it's interesting. So I mentioned Adam Jonas over at Morgan Stanley. He was the biggest bull on Tesla with the highest price target. Now Piper Sandler has caught up with the same price target. But yeah, you mentioned Tesla's only up about 2% year to date, but up almost 20% this month alone, up about 6.5% this week. So certainly has gotten interesting more recently. Piper Sandler boosted its price target on Tesla to 310 from 300, kept an overweight rating on shares. So now tied with Morgan Stanley for the highest on the street. It's not necessarily just the Robotaxi event, but that's also a catalyst, but also boosted its estimates actually for Q3 and fiscal 2024 delivery numbers for Tesla after reviewing intra-quarter sales data.
And we're talking about Tesla. Now, Tesla, of course, has lots of fans out there. The shares are up in the neighborhood of 5% or so over the last year. So let's talk about why you like it. First of all, you are buying into the autonomous driving story that the company really has said, if you're going to buy Tesla, this is why you're going to buy it.
Sure. How about that chart? So autonomous driving is a core focus for Tesla in the next phase of their growth stage. And so we're looking forward to October 10th, which is the Robotaxi, and seeing how Tesla executives portray the next phase of Tesla growth in automation. We also see that Tesla has millions and millions of cars on the road, not only here, but all over the globe. And so the ability to transition these cars into autonomous vehicles is super compelling for us.
You know, the autonomous capabilities of the cars right now has been under scrutiny by regulators.
Sure.
And there are robotaxis that are already on the road from the likes of Waymo.
Sure.
So how do you think about Tesla with those two sort of potential challenges?
Sure, Julian. I'm glad you brought up Waymo. So Waymo, competitor, they have cars on the streets, and folks can get in and take get from point A to point B without a driver. But the advantage that Tesla has is the data. They have vast data, much more than Waymo, to train their vehicles. And we see that as a catalyst for getting this out and rolling it out not only in cities, but in rural areas across the states and the globe.
Translation, they not like us. They not like us. Waymo operates in a small geo-fenced area, whereas you can get into Tesla and it can take you anywhere. That's the goal. Waymo uses LiDAR and other expensive sensors. Tesla uses a pure vision-based system that is already installed on every car that they deliver. Retrofitting these Waymo cars, it ain't cheap. The more Tesla vehicles Tesla sells, the more potentiality they have for an autonomous robotaxi all over the globe.
Gotcha. All right. Let's also talk about one of the other catalysts you're looking at. That's improving financials. What's going to drive those improving financials?
Well, we always talk about margins. Analysts love to critique the margins and the decreasing margins over the last couple of quarters.
Oh no! The margins!
But the revenues are strong. They have good revenues, they have a strong balance sheet, and they have a lot of cash to deliver on their product roadmap. So that's something that gets us excited. And next week, hopefully on the 2nd or 3rd, we get third quarter deliveries.
Right.
We expect 460 to 470,000. That would be an upside surprise.
465,069 is the number I'm looking for. If it's higher, I guess that's okay.
And that hopefully leads to increased sales, but it shows that Tesla is delivering on their promise, which is getting cars out there.
Butts in seats. Butts in seats, people.
And then finally, they're not just selling cars, as we know.
That's right.
They do other stuff, including put solar panels on people's houses,
That's
which
right.
doesn't get a lot of talk. They make batteries as well. So, you're looking at that sort of diversified revenue stream.
Well, we are. It's not just a car company.
What?
We see it also as a technology company, as a software company, but also an energy company. They have their energy storage business and their solar. Second quarter energy revenue was explosive. It was exceptional. And that's something that gets us excited away from just the selling of vehicles. And the auto industry has had some struggles over the last couple of years in this macro environment, but also with higher rates. So their diversified business lines and revenue there gets us very excited.
You're damn right.
So it's an interesting company to track. If you look at the stock chart, you pulled it up, it's been a roller coaster of a ride, but for investors that want to participate in the transition to electric vehicles, this is the way to do it.
All right, let's talk about the way you don't think it is to do it, and that's with Rivian. And a lot of people agree with you, right? The stock is down more than 40% over the past year. But let's talk about why here. the company needs cash, right? They have talked about that.
Absolutely. So they need a lot of cash. This is a scale industry. And very recently, this summer, they partnered with Volkswagen. They got $5 billion to roll out the next sort of phase of their growth, which is lower cost vehicles. And so this is something that we're looking at. It's an unprofitable business. They lose money for every car that they make. And we're in an environment where consumers have preferences and there are options. So someone that wants to get into an electric vehicle doesn't have to go to Rivian. They can go to other options, and Rivian competes with Volkswagen as well. So it's sort of an interesting take.
With the struggles of VW, what are the odds that they're going to get the rest of that money? And now there's questions floating in the air whether or not Rivian can reach profitability by the end of the year. Let's just say alarm bells will be ringing.
And then in terms of the production of the vehicles, they've had some sort of fits and starts.
I do. I think this is sort of a big challenge for them. Last month, they paused the production of their electric delivery vehicle, which are the vans that they make, commercial vans for Amazon, one of their biggest customers. And so this is just one more thing to add on top of the negative narrative for Rivian. But also, we've seen decline in production last quarter, specifically as we compare that to the first quarter and the fourth quarter of last year. So we're looking at this, and it looks like they're going to meet their targets, but this is just something that makes us uncomfortable.
Translation? This as easy as Tesla makes it look. They have a compelling product. The R1 series is not bad, it is expensive, but consumers tend to like what they've purchased. Problem is, Rivian has trouble producing those things, especially at a profit. Reaching profitability is paramount, but to do that, you're going to have to get through all these production issues. There's a reason why Elon Musk was sleeping on the factory floors when the Model 3 was in production. It was a make or break time period for Tesla the company. Had they not reached volume production with the Model 3, let's just say Tesla's financials would look mighty bankrupty. Rivian is now at a similar crossroads.
Ross, are you gaining any more confidence in Musk and team?
From what? What would gain me any confidence?
Yeah, shares are doing all right.
The shares are wonderful, I guess, but remember, there's the stock market and there's the business, and oftentimes there's a difference between business performance and the stock performance.
Oh, I agree, Ross, and the stock performance is still considerably lagging the actual company's performance.
Obviously, we're happy to see the shares get back to even for the year and make back some of the money we've lost on Tesla this year. But
imagine selling TSLA, knowing full well that it's going to be the most valuable company in a decade's time. And you've said as much. But because of the CEO's political statements, not believing in the direction that the company plans to go, you sell this stock. That's gotta sting.
The sad truth is Tesla hasn't gone up for 3 years now. So that's where we're at with Tesla. As much as I'm excited for $250, I'd be a lot more excited for $400,
Sure. Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
The all-time high, actually.
Well, that's kind of what I'm wondering, Ross, is like, because your thesis about how we got into this mess, kind of mismanagement to a degree, distractions with other things, then falling short of expectations on the robo stuff, kind of giving into that kind of hype that Elon kind of let us down on last time, so I get that. But if then he does manage to like pull off some amazing trick and we've got these machines rolling around our cities in 6 months, I mean, is that possible? Like, because I would think that would be huge for the stock.
Oliver, today in Los Angeles, there are Waymos everywhere. The entire city is covered with Waymos. Half my staff is taking Waymo now. And,
Wow.
It's incredible.
Ross, what the f are you talking about? What? The question was, wouldn't it be good for the stock if all of these Tesla machines were rolling around the cities? Waymo, they're not like us. You know this. Waymos operate in a limited geofenced area. Teslas can go damn near anywhere. Do you honestly believe that Waymo is the leader in this situation?
As much as I want to get excited about Tesla, the truth is they're late to the game, and Waymo's already here, and it's working, and they're wonderful vehicles, and everybody likes them. And with a partnership with Uber, this is a really, really tough hill to climb for Tesla, and they don't even have a vehicle that works yet.
With bulls like these, Who needs bears, right?
Okay, point taken. I guess then the devil's advocate for the bull side would be the success of it in some of the California cities suggests that it could be replicable and could be big for
100%.
scale.
100%. If you can do this in LA, this is the worst city to ever drive. It is a nightmare out there every day. It is a war on the freeways every day. And if you can get Waymos to work in this city, you can do it and scale this globally. So I am really bullish on Waymo. And I used to hate Waymo. Okay. So, you know, if my Cybertruck actually had full self-driving, I might be more bullish on Tesla. But what I think is by the time Tesla gets there, this market's already taken by Google.
I suppose Ross hasn't tried the latest FSD version 12.5.4, but honestly, the man should know better.
Hatem Diab, is this going to be the event where we start to hear more about full self-driving really happening? What do you expect from 1010 event?
I hope Elon can pull a rabbit. Yeah, it's a lot weighing on this event. Tesla currently, or the Robotaxi or their full self-driving is level 2. And for them to have full robotaxis, we need to really see level 4. And I think if they need to unveil a lot of technological advances, we need to understand more about what kind of logistical stuff they're using. Are they using LiDAR? I mean, they haven't been using LiDAR, but are they going to have some assistance? So there's a lot of things that we need to see for the robotaxi plan to kind of unfold.
Oh, the concept of LiDAR in these vehicles. Elon said it best. LiDAR is lame. The fact that some of these analysts are still talking about it means that they truly don't understand. And these are supposed to be the Tesla bulls. But he is right. It's a level 2 system. Mainly because Tesla makes it so. With a little engineering, Tesla could have a Waymo-like service in every major city. But that is not the goal. The goal is to get this thing to travel everywhere. You put a pin on the map, it can get you there. A generalized solution to the task of driving. Granted, it's going to take a little bit more time. Well, trust me, it'll be well worth the wait.
You think that this event will be well received on 1010?
As long as it doesn't get pushed to 1313, I think it'll be well received. But just to echo the points that were made, I've got a few Teslas in my stable, let's just say that. And full self-driving is nowhere near what, for example, Waymo does in actual self-driving kind of cyber cab environments like in San Francisco. The amount of processing power, LiDAR was mentioned, the sensors, the intricate mapping of a very, very small area to get you to the place where someone's comfortable in the backseat of a car without a driver. I just don't see it from Tesla. So yeah, rabbit out of a hat. We're looking for something kind of miraculous on the 10th.
The FSD that Tesla chooses to update to customers. You don't think that they have a better model that they're practicing with behind closed doors? Sure, FSD is prone to making a mistake, but that's because they let it go any and everywhere. FSD does about 95% of all of my driving, and the rate of improvement has been quite magical.
Is Tesla still a leader in your mind and a winner, David?
Yeah, they're a leader, but if you listen to what Elon Musk says, and you can't separate Tesla from Elon, Elon is Tesla, Tesla is Elon. He says don't invest in Tesla's stock unless you believe that they are essentially an AI company at this point, including how they will deploy AI and computer vision for full self-driving. So he's betting the future of the value of Tesla as a stock on just how well they can deliver on what's coming out on 1010. So I think it's fair to hold their feet to the fire and really look at what they're actually delivering. I suspect they're delivering nothing on the 10th, but a roadmap for things that they'll deliver.
It is a product unveil. You will get that. If you're expecting anything outside of a product unveil, prepare to be disappointed. Look, to each his own. Tesla is actively pursuing milestones in FSD that no other company on Earth is doing with just computer vision. I don't need the actualization of a robotaxi on 1010 because they're the only ones pursuing the goal. Truth be told, I hope everyone is disappointed about what they see on 1010. Maybe, just maybe, the stock will fall so I can continue to buy TSLA. And like Elon said, if you don't believe that Tesla is going to solve generalized autonomy, you probably shouldn't invest in the stock. And that's just fine by me. Leaves more for the rest of us. In conclusion, the US auto industry, to no one's surprise, is going through a rough patch. Macroeconomics, but outside pressures of China. Good golly molly. The efficiency at which they're producing battery electric vehicles is something to be admired. Meanwhile, Tesla is making this stuff look easy when it's anything but. I mean, just as Rivian. And with the skepticism from Tesla bulls, I'm shocked to see the stock rising so high. I mean, it's positive year to date after being down almost 40%. Luckily, I was able to load up on TSLA at levels of 155. And to tell you the truth, I hope we see those levels again, because I didn't buy enough. And all eyes are on Tesla's Robotaxi event. What will they unveil? What surprises are in store? But to some of these Tesla bull skeptics, it doesn't matter because Waymo's already here. Tesla's late to the game. If you believe that, you must be smoking the glass. Now don't get me wrong, Waymo has its purpose. It is doing a wonderful job in geofence locations. Is it a scalable solution that could potentially save thousands of lives? Maybe, but with Tesla's generalized solution that can go anywhere, city streets, highways, rural areas, we're looking at a steep decline in deaths on US highways and beyond. In short, they not like us. And as long as they're using LiDAR, radar, and all these other expensive sensors in a geofence location, they never will be. But it's these differences of opinions that keep the roller coaster of TSLA churning. Some people get it, but even more have no idea what TSLA has in store as Tesla the company continues to disrupt industry after industry. That's all I've got for you today. Be easy. Peace.